They told you to try harder, to hustle, to grind your way to success. That if you just worked more, pushed more, sacrificed more, your breakthrough would finally come. And maybe for a while, you believed it. You put in the hours, stayed up late, forced the visualizations, read the affirmations, like a desperate script. But the results didn't arrive. Or worse, they came briefly and slipped through your fingers like water. So you blamed yourself, didn't you? Maybe I'm not aligned enough. Maybe I need more shadow work. Maybe I haven't healed enough. And without even realizing it, you began turning your spiritual journey into a new form of performance, a high vibe version of the same old paradigm where worthiness must be earned. But what if I told you that the very act of trying harder is the signal that's blocking everything? That in the quantum field, over effort is not interpreted as devotion but as lack, a subtle but powerful message that says, I don't have it yet, and I need to earn it? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will shatter the paradigm that's been keeping you stuck.
They told you to try harder, to hustle, to grind, that if you just worked more, pushed more, sacrificed more, your breakthrough would come. And maybe for a while, you believed it. You put in the hours, you stayed up late, you forced the visualization, you read the affirmations like a script you had to memorize. But the results didn't arrive, or worse, they came and slipped through your fingers. So you blamed yourself. Maybe I'm not aligned enough. Maybe I need to do more shadow work. Maybe I haven't healed enough. And without even realizing it, you began to turn your spiritual journey into a new form of performance, a high-vibe version of the same old paradigm. If I'm good enough, I'll finally be worthy of receiving. But what if I told you that the very act of trying harder is the signal that's blocking everything? That in the quantum field, over-effort is not interpreted as devotion. It's interpreted as lack. A subtle but powerful message that says, I don't have it yet, and I need to earn it. This is the paradox that sabotages so many seekers. They awaken just enough to see the possibility of change, but not enough to realize that their inner frequency, not their external effort, is the key to alignment. They keep trying to manipulate the outer world while staying loyal to the inner state of the one who is still waiting. And so no matter how hard they try, they remain magnetically locked in timelines of almost not yet and someday. Because in the quantum, trying is resistance in disguise. You're not pushing toward your desire. You're pushing against your current state. And anything you push against grows. Let's zoom in. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, generates a measurable electromagnetic field around your body. The HeartMath Institute has proven that your heart's field can extend meters beyond you, a constant signal broadcasting who you believe you are. Now imagine that field like a tuning fork. If you strike the tone of, I'm not there yet, the quantum responds not with what you want, but with more reflections of that frequency. You don't get what you hope for. You get what your field is tuned to. This is the lie of effort-based manifestation, that you need to prove your readiness by pushing harder. But the field doesn't read your hustle. It reads your coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and identity are out of sync, the field receives static, mixed signals, and that distortion creates delay. It's not that your desire isn't responding, it's that your signal is unclear. Now here's the real shocker, and the part most never hear. The more desperate the effort, the louder the signal of absence. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to the frequency beneath them. You can say, I am abundant 1,000 times. But if your nervous system is flooded with fear, guilt, or not enoughness, that's the true signal. That's what the field will mirror. It's not about what you say. It's about what you transmit. And the state of trying is rooted in an assumption. I am not there yet. So every time you try harder, think more, act more, force alignment, you reaffirm the identity of someone still separate from what they seek, and the field reflects that separation perfectly. This is why your progress feels like walking on a treadmill. So much movement, so little shift. But what if that frustration is actually an invitation? What if the exhaustion, the burnout, the sense that no matter what you do it's not enough, isn't a sign of failure, but a signal to tune deeper? Because here's what no one teaches in the manifesting space. You can't override your frequency with action. You can't outperform your vibration. You can't effort your way into ease. You have to tune in. And tuning in isn't passive, it's precision. It's not about doing less. It's about broadcasting differently. When you stop chasing the desire like it's out there and begin embodying the state where it's already true, the quantum responds instantly. Not because it rewards you, but because you've become a vibrational match. You've aligned your signal with the version of reality where your desire is already done. Neville Goddard wasn't being poetic when he said you must feel the wish fulfilled. He was speaking of vibrational truth. Your emotional state is your order to the universe. And effort, when rooted in separation, cancels that order every time. Let's take a moment to break a myth wide open. Hard work doesn't manifest. Alignment does. Yes, aligned action has its place, but most people are not acting from alignment. They're acting from fear of what will happen if they don't. That's not creation. That's compensation. That's not flow. That's friction. And the field can feel the difference. So here's the incomplete puzzle your mind is trying to solve. If I don't push, how will it happen? But the better question is, who am I being that thinks pushing is required? Because effort doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the identity. The moment you believe that you must try harder, do more, become more, you are identifying with the version of you who is not yet worthy to receive. That identity is the broadcast. And until you collapse that version, the frequency of trying will block the frequency of receiving. But now you see it. You're no longer blind to the loop, and the field is always responding, not to who you were 5 minutes ago, but to who you are now. So take this moment and pause, not to try harder, but to soften into coherence, to release the grip, to exhale the tension between where you are and where you think you should be. Because what if nothing was missing except your awareness of how much was already present? What if your next level isn't about reaching, but receiving? And what if tuning deeper is the very shift that reveals that trying harder was never the path, only the echo of an outdated paradigm? In the comments right now, drop one word that captures where you are on this journey. Maybe it's surrender, maybe it's trust, maybe it's release, maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let that word be a small but profound declaration, a signal you plant not just in this space, but in the quantum field itself. We've been conditioned to believe that results are linear. More effort equals more reward. Push harder, get further, sacrifice now, succeed later. It's the old operating system, deeply ingrained, rarely questioned. But when it comes to manifestation, that belief isn't just outdated, it's dysfunctional. Because the quantum field doesn't operate by the logic of effort, it operates by the law of resonance. And in resonance, more force often means more friction. In this space, alignment outpaces effort, and your frequency, not your hustle, becomes the mechanism that moves timelines. Let's unpack this with precision. Every being emits a measurable electromagnetic signature. This isn't spiritual fluff, it's measurable fact. The heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body, up to 60 times stronger than the brain's. According to the HeartMath Institute, when your heart and brain enter coherence, a state of synchronized rhythm, your entire electromagnetic field changes. You become harmonized, stable, aligned. And this coherence becomes a clear signal to the quantum field. Now contrast that with over-effort. When you push and strive and stress, even with positive intentions, your nervous system enters survival. Your brain reactivates circuits of fear. Your cortisol spikes. Your heart rhythm becomes erratic. And suddenly, your signal becomes scrambled. You're no longer transmitting from possibility. You're broadcasting urgency. And urgency is not the frequency of manifestation. It's the frequency of delay. This is where most people unknowingly sabotage their desires. They visualize, but from a place of, I need this to change. They affirm, but from a place of, this isn't real yet. They act, but from a place of, I must earn it. And all of that effort emits a mixed signal. In the quantum, this dissonance creates what physicists call decoherence, the breakdown of order in a wave system. In spiritual language, your energy is out of sync with your intention. You're asking for clarity while vibrating in chaos. You're asking for abundance while vibrating in contraction. And the field reflects exactly that. Not what you want, but what you are. Here's the pattern interrupt. Action taken from misalignment is not manifestation. It's resistance in motion. Yes, action matters, but only when it emerges from frequency first. Imagine this. Two people take the same action. One sends the email, makes the call, writes the offer. The other does exactly the same. But only one gets the result, the synchronicity, the opportunity, the yes. Why? Because only one of them was energetically aligned with receiving it. The action was identical, but the field only responded to the signal behind the action. This is what most goal-setting frameworks miss entirely. They focus on what you're doing, not what you're broadcasting. They teach you to plan, execute, push, but never to ask, what frequency is this action carrying? Let's take this deeper into the quantum. In particle physics, there's a principle called entrainment, the tendency for two oscillating systems to synchronize. When one frequency is stronger, the other eventually locks into rhythm with it. This is not just a laboratory phenomenon, it's a cosmic law. Your state of being, when coherent, becomes the dominant frequency in your reality, and the field, which is always listening, entrains to it. In plain language, when you become the frequency, the field matches. But most people think one thing and feel another. They think I am worthy but feel shame. They think money flows to me but feel lack. That contradiction generates incoherence, and incoherence leads to stagnation. The solution? Not more effort, more integration. Coherence means that your thoughts, emotions, and actions are unified, that your nervous system is no longer bracing for disappointment, that your body believes what your mouth is saying, that you're not trying to convince the universe. You're reflecting what's already true within you. And once that internal alignment locks in, the external world doesn't resist you. It reorganizes around you. Let's flip the entire paradigm. Most people believe that their external circumstances must shift first. Then they'll feel peace, joy, gratitude. But quantum reality is reversed. You must feel peace, joy, gratitude first, and then your external reality collapses into coherence with your inner field. Because the field doesn't respond to conditions, it responds to consistency. So the real question becomes, can you hold the frequency of your desired reality even when the evidence hasn't shown up yet? Can you stay in coherence while your bank account still reflects the old story? Can you remain aligned when the relationship hasn't arrived? Can you live as the signal, not the seeker? If you can, the field moves, not slowly, instantly, not through effort, through energetic permission. Because here's what's actually happening. When you're tuning your frequency, you're shifting your identity, and identity is the most powerful transmitter in the universe. Neville Goddard taught that assuming the wish fulfilled is not imagining the outcome, it's inhabiting the version of you for whom the outcome is already normal. That version doesn't strive, That version doesn't beg. That version doesn't hustle for permission to receive. That version simply is. And the field listens. This is the access point where science meets mysticism, where vibration meets action, where trying ends and tuning begins. Before we go further, I want to invite you into something real. If you've been feeling like something's clicking here, if a part of you is waking up to your own power, tap like right now if you just had an aha moment, because like attracts like. Hit subscribe and the bell icon next to it so you don't miss what's coming next. And join our manifestation club on gogetter.au. Get inspired by reading real manifestation stories and share your own to inspire others. This isn't just a channel, this is a frequency. If you felt a shift watching this, you're already tuned in. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Let that sink in. Not as a spiritual mantra, but as a vibrational law. Because behind every unanswered prayer, every manifestation that never arrived, every timeline that stayed just out of reach, there is one recurring pattern: wanting without resonating, hoping without embodying, trying to pull a frequency toward you while vibrating in a completely different bandwidth. This is where most seekers get stuck and stay stuck, not because they lack clarity or discipline, but because they're still approaching the quantum field as if it's a vending machine. Insert a wish, wait for delivery. But the field doesn't operate on transaction. It operates on resonance. And resonance doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your identity. To understand this, we need to go deeper into the physics. In quantum terms, everything is vibration. Every thought, emotion, object, and outcome carries a specific frequency. That frequency, or wave pattern, is like a radio signal. And just like a radio, you don't receive what you desire. You receive what you're tuned into. Think of it like this. If your dream reality is playing on 98.5 FM, but you're vibrating at 88.1, it doesn't matter how badly you want to hear the music. It's not a question of worthiness or desire. It's a question of signal match. The law of resonance dictates that only frequencies in harmony with each other will amplify. Everything else passes through unreceived. This is why trying to manifest from lack never works. Because lack is not the absence of having, it's the presence of dissonance. Let's break this with an example. Imagine a person affirming "I am abundant" while feeling anxious every time they pay a bill. What's their actual frequency? It's not abundance, it's fear. And that fear has a vibration, a pattern, a magnetic field. So regardless of the words, the signal says, "I don't trust there will be enough." That's the message the field picks up. That's the identity being transmitted. This is the missing piece that most teachings gloss over. Words don't manifest. Frequency does. And the most powerful frequency you carry isn't in your mind. It's in your emotional body. It's the subtle vibrational signature generated by your beliefs, assumptions, and If deep down you still believe "I need to earn my worth," "things are hard for me," or "I'm not ready," then no matter how much you try to override that with affirmations, the field still reads the baseline signal. Because in resonance, the dominant frequency always wins. Now here's the paradox that keeps most people in struggle. The more you try to prove you're ready, the more you broadcast that you're not. Effort fueled by fear doesn't signal commitment. It signals misalignment. The universe doesn't need your proof. It needs your permission, your full vibrational yes. And that doesn't come from striving. It comes from becoming. This is why Neville Goddard's teachings are more than esoteric philosophy. When he says, "live from the end," he's not talking about pretending. He's pointing to a vibrational hack. When you begin to identify with the version of you who already has it, when you feel, breathe, and act as them, you enter resonance with that timeline. And the field, which has no resistance to your desire, responds with absolute neutrality. It collapses the version of reality that matches your dominant state. Not because you asked, but because you became a match. Let's explore this through a scientific lens. Resonance is a principle observed in mechanical systems, musical instruments, and electromagnetic fields. When two frequencies align, energy is transferred more efficiently. They begin to oscillate in harmony. In practical terms, when your inner world aligns with the frequency of what you seek, emotionally, somatically, neurologically, the outer world shifts to meet you. You don't pull the outcome to you, you meet it in the middle. But this requires a radical shift in how you relate to desire. Desire is not a signal to chase something, it's a signal to tune to something. It's not pointing to what's missing, it's revealing what's available if you become the vibrational version of the one who receives it. This is the secret resonance carries. It removes negotiation. You don't have to convince the universe. You don't have to earn the outcome. You simply have to become the version of you for whom it's already true. Let's pause and zoom in. What is the state of being, the frequency, of the version of you who already has what you seek? How do they walk, speak, make decisions, spend time, respond to setbacks? That's your real work. Not to get the result, but to install the state. Because when your nervous system no longer flinches at the thought of receiving, when your body no longer braces for disappointment, when your energy no longer contradicts your desire, you have reached resonance. And resonance is the point of no return. Once achieved, the outer world has no choice but to adjust, not as magic, as mechanics. But this also means something confronting. If your reality hasn't shifted yet, something in you is still out of tune. And that's not failure, that's feedback. Resonance is a mirror. It's not judging you, it's revealing you. So here's the question only you can answer. What version of me does my current reality reflect? And if that version isn't the one you desire, you don't need to push harder. You need to transmit differently. You need to upgrade your state. Not as a one-time ritual, but as a daily identity shift, a vibrational commitment, a moment-by-moment return to coherence. That's how you become a magnet, not by effort, by energetic clarity. In the comments, share one thing you deeply desire. Maybe it's freedom. Maybe it's abundance. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's something uniquely yours. Let this be a small but profound declaration, a signal to the universe you send not just in this space, but in the quantum field. There is a moment, subtle but unmistakable, when something inside you clicks, not intellectually, but vibrationally. The striving dissolves, the grip releases, the urgency quiets, and in that stillness, something ancient rises, a deeper frequency, long forgotten but instantly familiar. That moment is the threshold, not a place of arrival, but a shift in how you exist. And once you cross it, reality responds differently. This isn't about giving up. It's about giving over, surrendering not your power, but your resistance. The truth is, most people don't realize how much of their energy is spent holding up the old identity, the one who's almost there, who still needs to earn it, who still doesn't trust. That version is always seeking, always adjusting, always trying to get it right. But trying is the currency of timelines that delay. And flow begins when trying ends. Here's the paradox that keeps so many trapped. They think surrender means weakness. But, in the quantum field, surrender is a signal of energetic authority. It says, I am. Let's break this with science. In the study of brainwave states, high effort correlates with elevated beta, the frequency of alertness, thinking, and often stress. This is where most people spend their day, analyzing, projecting, reacting. But as you begin to slow down and breathe deeper, your brain enters alpha, then theta, states of intuition, integration, and internal alignment. In these slower frequencies, your heart and brain begin to synchronize. Your electromagnetic field becomes coherent, and in coherence, you become magnetic. What used to feel like a wall becomes a window, and what once took effort begins to move through you instead of because of you. Flow is not the absence of action. It is action without resistance. It is creation without contradiction. And it begins at the moment where you stop broadcasting the frequency of almost and start living as if it's already done. But let's be clear. The threshold isn't marked by a dramatic sign. It often comes quietly, in the space between thoughts, in the softness of your body, in the shift from "what do I need to do" to "who do I need to be?" And when you cross that invisible line, something remarkable happens. The field begins to deliver without delay. People call, paths open, ideas arrive, not through strain, but synchronicity. And for the first time, you realize you were never manifesting the outcome. You were manifesting the version of you who could hold it. This is what no one tells you about the law of attraction. It's not about pulling things toward you. It's about dissolving the version of you who kept them out. That's the real alignment. Because here's the secret the quantum reveals. What you seek is not on the other side of effort. It's on the other side of incoherence. When you stop contradicting yourself, when your emotions, thoughts, body, and energy finally agree, the field doesn't delay. It reflects. This is why your job isn't to figure out how the miracle comes. Your job is to sustain the frequency where it already has. And that takes less than you think, but more than you're used to. It takes honesty. Radical vibrational honesty. The kind that says, "I'm still holding tension around this," or "I'm still attached to struggle." That honesty isn't weakness. It's a tuning fork. It shows you where you're still emitting static. And once seen, you can choose. Return to effort or breathe into trust. Let's go deeper. Flow isn't a state you chase. It's a state you allow. It arrives when you stop pushing against reality and start participating with the field. That means releasing timelines, outcomes, and conditions that don't match your highest frequency. It means being willing to disappoint the version of you who used to settle, so you can live as the one who no longer tolerates delay. But what does this actually look like? It's the moment you stop chasing clients and start speaking as the one who's already in demand. It's when you stop journaling your way into love and begin responding as someone already loved. It's when you no longer ask, "Is it working?" because you know that coherence always works. This is the frequency threshold, the moment where your vibration becomes the reality. And here's your initiation. It's not about intensity. It's about stability. Can you hold the frequency when nothing outside of you is validating it yet? Can you stay in trust when the bank account looks the same? Can you remain open when others still see you as who you used to be? Because if you can, you've crossed the line. Not from effort to laziness, but from friction to flow. And when flow begins, manifestations speed up, not because you hacked the system, but because you exited the pattern of delay. You stopped sending mixed signals, and the field, always faithful, responded to your signal with precision. So take a breath now, right where you are. Let the tension drop from your shoulders. Let the need to control dissolve. Let the waiting identity collapse. And type in the comments below, as a declaration to yourself and the field, "I choose alignment over effort." Let that be your signal, your resonance, your shift. Every reality you've ever lived, every timeline you've walked, every outcome you've either manifested or missed, was never a response to your desire. It was a reflection of your identity. Not who you want to be, not who you pretend to be, but who, on the deepest subconscious level, you keep broadcasting yourself to be. That is the original signal, the one the quantum never ignores, the one that magnetizes or repels every possibility you encounter. This is where all roads in manifestation lead back to self, because the field isn't mirroring your goals, it's mirroring your assumptions. And the strongest assumption in any person's life is the quiet default frequency of who they believe they are, not in theory, but in biology, in vibration, in nervous system resonance. Your identity is not a label. It's a frequency pattern encoded in your thoughts, stored in your emotions, etched into the firing patterns of your brain. Neuroscience calls this a neural net, an interconnected map of beliefs, memories, and triggers that shape what you expect, how you act, and what you unconsciously allow yourself to receive. If left unexamined, this map becomes your cage. You don't just live your life, you replay it. This is why change often feels like resistance. You're not fighting circumstances. You're challenging the energetic blueprint of who you've always been. Let's make this real. If you've spent years seeing yourself as the one who tries hard but never breaks through, your identity has tuned itself to almost. Your body has normalized that frequency. Your cells expect it. Your decisions protect it. And even your dreams are filtered through it. So no matter how much you meditate, journal, or visualize, if your root identity is still entangled with not yet, then not yet is the only timeline that can stabilize. Because the field only reflects what you have become, not what you are reaching for. This is why effort often feels like self-betrayal. Because you're taking action from a self-image that doesn't believe the outcome is natural. Every step feels uphill. Every affirmation feels fake. Every visualization requires more willpower than trust. And that friction isn't failure, it's feedback. The identity hasn't updated. So how do you change it? Not through force, not through pretending, but through recalibration. Identity recalibration is not about becoming something new, it's about retiring the version of you that was formed in survival. The one who had to prove, the one who had to wait, the one who wore pain like armor because it was familiar. That version did its job. It kept you safe, but it can't walk you into your next reality. Because the version of you who receives with ease, who attracts, who flows, who magnetizes miracles, that version lives at a different frequency. And that frequency becomes accessible the moment you decide to stop rehearsing the old one. Let's bring in the neuroscience. When you imagine a future event and feel the emotions associated with it, joy, freedom, abundance, your brain begins to rewire. It no longer fires according to memory, it fires according to vision. This is called neuroplasticity, and it means you can reprogram the structure of self by installing new emotional signatures. But the key is repetition, not robotic, resonant. Every time you return to the feeling of being the version of you who already has it, and stabilize in that feeling even briefly, you begin to collapse the old identity. You reduce its neurological dominance, you weaken its magnetic pull, and the more you live from the new state, the more the old one decays, not through war, through vibrational neglect. This is identity alchemy. And here's the real shift. Once you embody a new identity, truly feel it in your body, act from it, speak from it, rest in it, the field doesn't delay. Because now, you're no longer sending mixed signals. You're not thinking one thing, feeling another, doing a third. You've unified. And in unification, timelines collapse. That's why you must stop asking, what do I need to do to manifest? And start asking, who do I need to stop being? Because action without identity is like trying to run new software on outdated hardware. It crashes, it slows down, it lags. You might see progress, but it won't sustain. The old identity will sabotage the download, and you'll call it blockage or resistance, when really it's just incompatibility. Now here's the quantum piece. According to the observer effect, your attention collapses potential into form. But attention isn't just focus, it's frequency. And when your dominant frequency is tied to a past identity, your attention collapses past-based timelines. This is why your life looks like a rerun. Different jobs, same insecurity. Different relationships, same wounds. Different strategies, same ceiling. You don't need new tactics, you need a new transmitter. And the transmitter is your state of being, your felt sense of self, your emotional signature, your energetic posture. Once those shift, the field doesn't hesitate, because now it recognizes you, not as the one who wants, but as the one who is. This is why true change doesn't feel like effort. It feels like remembering. You're not manufacturing a new self. You're tuning to a version of you that already exists, just outside the noise of your current identity. And the more you meet them in stillness, in breath, in imagination, in behavior, the stronger they become, until one day they are you. And everything that didn't match them begins to fall away naturally, effortlessly, coherently. You've been taught to chase outcomes, to fix what's wrong, to upgrade your strategy, to do your way into alignment. But what if the final step was to stop stepping? What if the frequency you've been chasing has been waiting not on your effort, but on your permission? Because here's the truth that every great mystic, every quantum scientist, every awakened being eventually uncovers. The reality you want doesn't come when you earn it. It appears when you match it. Not through effort, through signal. And now you're ready to access that signal. So let's stop talking about frequency. Let's step into it right here, right now. Because if you've made it to this point, you're not just here for inspiration. You're here for initiation. This isn't theory. This is a vibrational pivot point. You're about to leave behind the frequency of striving and step into the version of you who no longer needs to manifest, because they've become the expression of the reality itself. The frequency access ritual. This process can be done sitting or standing. The only thing required is your presence. Step 1. The stop signal. Close your eyes. Take a breath, full and deep. And on the exhale, imagine releasing every version of you that was trying to get somewhere. Drop the almost. Drop the not yet. Drop the how. Let your field go quiet. Say inwardly, I no longer chase. I now choose. Let that choice settle like gravity. Step 2. Tune into the signal. Now bring into your awareness the version of you who no longer tries, the one for whom it's already happening. Feel them, not as fantasy, but as a current frequency. Notice their posture, their breath, the way they feel inside their body. Ask, what is the emotional baseline of this version of me? Maybe it's peace, trust, abundance, freedom. Now breathe into that feeling as if it were already your default setting. Feel it infuse your chest, your spine, your face. Don't force it, just remember it. Step 3. Merge timelines. With your next inhale, allow this version of you to step closer. And now, step into them. Let their nervous system become yours, their rhythm, your rhythm, their identity, your new signal. Feel the shift, subtle but undeniable, like slipping into perfectly fitting clothing after years of constriction. This is you, not becoming someone else, but returning to who you were before effort became your identity. Step 4. Broadcast the field. From this place, say, I access my frequency. I allow my reality to match it. And mean it. Say it not to wish, but to command. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You're not asking anymore. You're becoming. You're not signaling from lack. You're emanating from completion. Stay in this frequency as long as you choose. And when you return, let your next breath, your next step, your next word be a reflection of this new internal broadcast. Because this is how timelines collapse. Not from more doing, from more being. Now, as we complete this journey, know this. You don't have to fight for your miracle. You don't have to convince the universe. You don't have to prove you're ready. You only have to become a match. And when you do, the field doesn't resist. It recognizes. And when it recognizes, it responds. Everything that used to feel far suddenly accelerates. Everything that once felt heavy begins to dissolve. You're no longer trying to get there. You're living from it now. Because frequency isn't something you find. It's something you access. It's already here, just like you. So stay in this field. Return to this frequency as often as needed. Make it your new default. And watch how the outer world bends to meet it. Make sure you share this video with your friends and family. You might be a blessing in disguise for them. For you, it may be just sharing. But for someone in need today, it may be the breakthrough that changes everything. And their gratitude will increase the positive energy flowing back to you. And if this activation stirred something real inside you, if this wasn't